Good morning, guys. So today is Friday, February the 4th, and it's my first day of clinical. So it is 4:45 and I'm getting ready to head out. Gotta take my dog to doggy daycare, then I'm headed to the hospital. So last night we got an email with a PDF file that tells us where we be, what location we'll be at, which department, and who we'll be paired up with. So I'll be with an SRNA for today. He actually texted me or emailed me last night with giving me his phone number and telling me where to meet him and at what time. And so I emailed him back, giving him my number, and so he texted me and just told me not to worry and don't be nervous and that today would be a good day. So that actually calmed my nerves because it just lets me know that, he cares and that he took the initiative to text me. So, excuse me, sorry. So yeah, I have my fanny pack that I'm taking with me. I'm not taking any lunch because it's my first day. I don't have much of an appetite. I'm just learning the facility. Also, last night I did a care plan. So this hospital has like a desktop software where we can download on our computer, and it gives us the ability to look at patients' charts before going to clinical. So I was able to look at the patient's medical history, which was good. So yeah, so I'll keep you guys posted as much as I can. I didn't get much sleep last night. But anyway, so I will see you guys later. Hi guys, I hope it's not too windy. I'm recording this video outside. I just got home from my first day of clinical, and I'm walking my dog. It is about maybe 4:30, and I am exhausted. So I got up this morning at 4 a.m. I was there by 5:45 to meet my SRNA. So he met me at the entrance, and we walked in. We went straight to the schedule to see what was going on for the day. So whenever we got there, we were in endo. Endo is for endo procedures, so like colonoscopies, things like that. So this morning when we got there, we had a 7:30 schedule for a colonoscopy. However, that case was canceled. But we had already set our room up. We drew our medications. So whenever I go to clinical, so the first thing I'll do is pull out a narcotic kit, and that has like all the narcotics in it, and that'll be my kit for the day. And I keep track of what I gave and what was waste. But the waste does not go to waste. Whatever you don't use, you write it as waste and you return it back to the pharmacy, and they will check the numbers behind you, make sure that you're accurate, you know everything adds up, and then they will properly waste the narcotics. After you get your narcotic kit, set up your room. So you always set up, even if endo, originally for the colonoscopy, we planned to do sedative case, so propofol mainly. So for those cases, like I said, if you do like sedative cases, just sedation, you just put them to sleep, and no gas and no muscle relaxers, muscle paralytics. Then they're usually spontaneously breathing, so no type of intubation tube, but you still have your emergency airway equipment available. So and your emergency drugs. So we drew up all of our drugs that we were going to use, plus our pressors we kept handy just in case. So that case was canceled, and so then we got a call about an add-on for a patient who has an upper GI bleed. However, he went into AFib when he was on the floor, or when he was getting in the ER, and so they had to do a cardiac consult before they could clear him for surgery. So that case was put on hold, and then we got a call about a third case for a patient who had a rectal abscess that needed to be drained. Okay, but anyway, for patients who are heavy drug users, you have to anticipate higher, more narcotics, so more medication to put them down. And when I say put them down, I mean to get them sleep and get them comfortable and to get them in a place where they're not moving. And so for a patient, so this guy, you could look at him and tell that he was a drug user. He had the punctures all over his body. First is given pre-op. Zofran is given pre-op. He came back to the room. What goes is you give your lidocaine, your propofol, and then you give your, for him, you give fentanyl. Okay, so as those medications are working, the patient's going to sleep. And once they go to sleep, you begin to what we call mass ventilate. And mass ventilation, we're looking for chest rise. We're making sure that if something happens and we cannot get an ET in, get a tube in his throat, ET tube, then we can mask ventilate. Okay, so once we say, okay, yeah, I can mask ventilate him, then we give our paralytic, which is succinylcholine. Succinylcholine is what we call a depolarizing muscle relaxer. So it's going to cause fasciculations whenever you give your first dose. Whenever you give your dose, and then the patient becomes paralyzed. So we intubated him and we turned up the MAC. So about 15 minutes later, his blood pressure went down to in the 80s. The heart rate stayed about 61. So at that point, I'm thinking, let's maybe give phenylephrine. And my SRNA was like, well, why wouldn't you give ephedrine? And so then I thought about it. I said, well, you can't give ephedrine, right? But anyway, so... But he said before we give medication, recycle the blood pressure to make sure it was the correct reading. And then the patient was about to be cut. So when patients are intubated, when they are getting their incision, those are very stimulating moments. So what's going to happen is your sympathetic system will kick in. So your heart rate is going to go up, blood pressure is going to go up. So as soon as the doctor makes the first incision, though the patient is asleep, your body still responds to the cutting, right? So the pressure went up, heart rate was already okay, but it went up a little bit as well. So that resolved that issue. And so what we did first was we went down on the MAC first, and then the doctor did the incision, pressure went back up. What else? And for both cases, waking them up. So when the tube came out, I don't know if it's just men or what, but when the tube came out, they were just like, they hopped up. And so it's kind of like holding them down, kind of not holding them down, but just kind of like, hey, hey, this is what's going on. Your surgery is done. And now we're taking you back to recovery. You have to keep telling them that because their brain is still, their brain isn't in a state where they're actually fully comprehending what's going on. So you have to keep telling them, hey, we're done with your procedure. We're going back. So every time you say it, they're like, okay. So they relax. Then a second later, they're up trying to get up again. Tell them, your surgery is done. Just try to relax. They're like, okay. They lay back down. So that was it. But I learned so much today. Like my SRNA, he was awesome. Like he quizzed me. He gave me tips. Just seeing him in action made me so excited. Like he's in his second semester and he was like awesome today. I mean, like thinking fast, thinking quick. It was great. So today was a good day. I have some footage, but not a lot because it was my first day. And I didn't want to be pulling my phone out, recording stuff. I'm new there. I don't know anybody. So I lay low as far as using my phone. I only pull my phone out when necessary. Other than that, I wrote down notes on my little notepad that I took. And that was it. So that was my first day, guys. I am exhausted. I am tired. And I want you guys to see my progression as well, you know, like from day one until, you know, and it's just see how I grow as a clinician, as a student. I mean, I'm excited to see it.